your background.
Are you recording, are you? You don't...
Yes, it's recording now.
Right, cheers. Hello, everybody. It's Friday here at Agile World. We brought
cheers. Cheers.
a bit of a drinky poo after this week. Just to note, Karl is actually drinking water out of a champagne glass because that's how he rolls.
I'm that decadent, yes.
So we've got our also awesome fellow friends Yusuf and Sath with us tonight. Come on then. So tonight's going to be a smash.
Hello.
Every Friday, we're all going to have... What's that?
What?
Oh, you can say something.
I was just going to say is that Sath was so good last time we invited him back. We haven't upped his fees at all, but you know, we consider it an opportunity, Sath.
Let's talk about that. We put it on the group chat, and Sath jumped on and said, "I thought it was just going to be me."
Well, this is the Sath show, so.
It was a diva moment, proper diva moment.
Funny.
Honestly.
It made me laugh. It made me laugh.
Love it, love it. So how are you guys? How are you doing? How have you? This week's been a crazy week building up to yesterday. Then we had the build up, and then we had the big event and all our other wonderful events as well. Not to forget that. And then we've had today. How are we all?
After you start.
I think that says it all.
We're waiting for someone else to start because we're all so nice. That's why I'm going to pitch in.
Come on, Yusuf, kick us off.
I have to say it's been a blur. It's been the last 2 weeks. I'm like, what day is it? What's going on? Where am I? Who am I? Well, who am I? Even who am I every day? That's just the way it's been the last 2 weeks. Thank you, Karl. Before you even say that, thank you.
I was going to say it and I stopped. Okay, carry on.
No, it's obviously been a blur, and I'm just I don't think I've had this much fun doing this sort of agile stuff for a long time. I mean, I don't know how you guys are feeling about it, but that's the way I'm feeling at the moment, to be honest.
I'm enjoying it. I actually get excited for the evenings. What I explained that just before we started recording, I just feel really excited when it gets to the evening, all the stuff that I can see, all the stuff I can attend, all the different people that I can speak to. It is the extent that, you know, I'm struggling. I know I've got to go to bed at a certain time at night because I get up early for the gym, but I don't want to. I'm literally staying last, yeah. How about you, Sath? How's it been going?
Yeah, it's very hard to describe, to be honest. I mean, every day there's so much on. It was another packed week. You know, it's an emotional roller coaster. I go somewhere from like genuine joy and happiness to euphoria. it's nuts. It's nuts. And then 2 in the morning, I'm still sitting there, and I'm
euphoria for free. That's a rarity.
It's insane. It's insane. Yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff this week. I wouldn't know where to start. So I was pretty much trying to do something every day. And as you say, Sabrina, it's the full day's work, and then you're just back to back doing whatever you're doing. But the Dan Larson one on Tuesday was great, because I'd never really kind of because Dana Larson kind of did she co-authored the Agile retrospectives with Esther Derby. I didn't really know much of Dana's work outside of that. But she'd done that kind of fluency model, Agile fluency model. It's really good to hear more about it. So I want to learn more about that. So that's kind of the kind of byproducts of this stuff. You know, you're touching things and you're like, wow, I need to explore that further. And then it's taking you off at a tangent, and kind of every day that stuff's happening. And then Scott and I did the Impostor Syndrome stuff on the Wednesday, and I touched on that with the guys just before.
Wait a minute, are you Sath?
I really don't know. Much to Yusuf's point, I'm not really sure who I am.
It sounds like
I'm just doing stuff, and things are happening, and I go to events from time to time.
Are you guys going to run that Impostor Syndrome one again? I actually feel quite important. I think this is quite important to actually run it again, because it's something that everyone is affected by. And I know a lot of people have wanted to go to it. I know you did get quite a few people going to it again. This is one event I would say definitely. Could you not run it again?
Nobody said that to me directly, but Yeah, I think, no, to be honest with you, what was really great about it was Scott did this beautiful opening, and, he set the scene with the theory, what's it all about, a bit of a level setter, right? And then I did a bit about my own journey, but some of the ways that it's manifested for me. But I was talking on a very personal level, which for me, right, you guys are used to me presenting all the rest of it, but talking about myself, I find really hard, right? Especially when you're talking about stuff that's personal to you. And imposter syndrome is effectively inner dialogue, right? You're having a dialogue with yourself. You're fighting with yourself. So to kind of externalize that is actually really quite difficult. That's what Scott and I were doing. But the audience response was phenomenal, and everybody starts sharing their own stuff. And the next thing you know, we're having this really deep kind of conversation about people's pasts and their journeys and their experiences, and it was overwhelming, to be honest. By the end of it, Scott and I chatted for nearly an hour after it had all finished, and we were just like, what happened there?
This is why I've heard feedback, I've heard people talking about it, and this is why I'm saying it needs to be run again.
Yeah.
Or even like part 2, because everyone experiences it. If you think about it, the way I see it in multiple different ways, but one way I do see it is, when you end up doing something that is maybe a little bit fearful, and 101 things will actually go through your mind. And then you start doubting yourself, then the fear gets more. This is only like a small percentage of it. It's just like my view. It's like that. And I think so many people have so many experiences that they can relate to it on a day-to-day basis. So
I think this is really interesting because I don't have imposter syndrome.
really,
So I created myself. So we were talking before we started recording about personas. I have created a bunch of personas that are me. And I use those personas in different kinds of work that I do. So they're possibly all imposters, but I feel quite safe in them. I don't, I have a CTO persona that I'm using on this festival, who's quite a hard person, but I'm not a hard person myself.
I was gonna say,
but that persona is not the real you, though, right?
No, it's not. Of course not.
Yeah.
But
when we talk about imposter syndrome, we're talking about the real us. Not these personas. We've all got personas. We've all got ways we're perceived. We all wear different hats. We model different roles. But that stuff is the authentic you. And as people are saying, it surfaces different for people. It probably does surface for you, but maybe in a way that is mild for you, or in a way that maybe you've not even been able to acknowledge yet, and you've yet to do that.
Maybe. I don't know.
I get it commonly. Karl regularly is like, if I get to like doing this Agile World thing, I panic about, and Karl's like, no, you're fine. You'll be able to do this, everything like that. And everyone does. And it's that support. And back to the fact, the support that we get from the festival, the friends that we've made from the festival and everything like that, that helps us going through this journey in life, this journey of agility, this journey of what we're actually doing, but also a journey as people. There's multiple things that we're doing now as people that we would never have thought that we'd be doing, that is improving our skills, but improving our life, and we're getting enjoyment out of it, but we still have those fears. And then our friendships that we've made, we're going through those fears. Go on, Karl.
I'm sorry. The minute you said fear, I just immediately thought of that line from Dune: "Fear is the mind killer." And I tend to I operate in faithfulness and faith, not in fear. So I'm not protecting a zone or trying to force an agenda based around being afraid and therefore being protected, which means I'm a fairly open person. But I mean, it's a really fascinating thing, because I don't feel like an imposter at anything I do, because everything I do, I research to the nth degree. I don't do anything unless I already know it very well. Maybe that's my imposter syndrome, that actually I feel I need to understand everything.
Yeah.
I just just on the second, doing it again, and just on the feedback, some of the feedback's been amazing, but the way I've been looking at it has been slightly different, because all those people are now going to be leaders in this subject from people they talk to. And everyone who was at that event will go out and be able to say to others, what about this? What about that? Can you imagine the spread just from that? So please, Seth, if you've got the chance, do it again, dude. Seriously, it's
yeah,
that,
I'll chat to Scott. No, it's great. And to
it's
be honest,
provoking the conversation.
yeah, and it's when Scott and I chatted after, it wasn't that different to what you guys did with the dyslexia. Then that was awesome, right? You were talking about stuff personal to you, your experiences, and how it manifested for you and the impact it had on you. It was such an incredible. I mean, these human sessions, those ones for me are the best ones.
Yeah.
You can go other stuff, you can learn about methods and techniques and frameworks, but we kind of do that in our day jobs, right? But this stuff where we're getting people's personal accounts and people are sharing and talking, and we're kind of collaboratively exploring stuff, that stuff is gold, right? And that was the same with dyslexia. I don't have dyslexia, but I was there supporting you guys. But listening to you talking about it was an education for me.
Well, it's nice that people are interested. That's the bit that took me back with our event, was not only were people interested in it, they had the same pain. And then it was surprising to get the feedback from everyone saying, well, actually, no one's talking about this. It's a taboo. Why is no one talking about it? No one. I got messages after that event going, do you know what, Sabrina, the things that you were saying, the things what Karl was saying, the things what Scott was saying, even what my husband was saying. I never even believed that people would be commenting on my own husband's. It was the first time he's ever joined an event that I've seen. And he was lovely. And they were saying, like, do you know what? The things you were saying were inspirational. I've had this problem as well. I never thought of just being open about it. I've always been scared about it. And you shouldn't be. You need to be open. And yeah, it's the fact that people are interested. I never thought anybody would be interested in me or Karl or Scott saying something that actually is an effect on our life that we've tried to turn around. But you're right. I think they are far more interested.
No, it's also not just that. It's also that we see this in our day-to-day lives. I see, even if you personally aren't dyslexic or you personally don't have imposter syndrome, just working with people, and suddenly you begin to realize, actually, maybe that person does have imposter syndrome. Maybe that person is dyslexic. Maybe it's. I mean, just hearing this stuff is enough to actually provoke a change in the individual, no matter what state they themselves are in. This is the whole point of human to human, I'd say.
So one of my favorite statements is that we judge ourselves by our intentions and other people by their actions.
Yeah.
And so if we were to try and work out people's intentions, we might have a different reaction to what they do. And that opens up the conversation wider, especially working in teams, about, why did you do that? Why did you think that was the right thing to do? I've worked in Scrum teams where you've got two people sitting facing each other in the same Scrum, and one person is doing the other person's job because they wouldn't have a conversation with them to find out what they did. And it was, they wasted 2 days building a database that already existed because they couldn't find it. And that kind of thing is
the two people were away building a database.
Well, no. So the one person owned the database, and the other person couldn't find the database. So they built a temporary data structure to hold the data, so they could build the UI.
Wow.
Is Karl frozen?
I'm going to stop my video. I'm stopping my video.
He's actually changing to alcohol when we're not looking. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
He's going to put a wig on.
It's Friday night. It's not the weekend.
That's dress at the weekend. I will say one thing that so all these technical sessions and everything, all this stuff that's personal. The most personal thing I've seen in the last 2 weeks has been the poetry sessions. We've had two poetry sessions, and it has been astonishing. We've had actual poet turn up to both of them. And the first one, she was published, and she told her life story while we were there. And we had people on who were like, "I'm living in the middle of nowhere," or "I'm here," or "I'm there." This is my human to human connection. And in the second one, we had a poet turn up, and she hasn't been published. And we were all saying, "You have to be published. You've got to publish what you just told us." That level of intimacy, it's astonishing. I don't understand how we've got to that. And I'm hoping that we carry, and all the sessions seem to be reflecting that. Whatever we do seems to have that in it.
That's truly one of the sessions to show that the things that we're doing affects multiple different areas and actually can link up with multiple areas. The fact that you've got agile and poetry together. Who would ever think agile and poetry? Has anyone got any particular events that they're looking forward to over the weekend? Because we've got quite a number of them. I've got one up here, the Agile Coaching Clinic tomorrow morning. I thought, perfect. Just as I finished the gym, I can jump straight into this. But has anyone got any particular ones they're looking forward to on the weekend? What are you laughing at?
I've got I'm joining the sort of leading with personal agility one on Sunday. So that's in my calendar. So I'm gonna go to that. It's got a nice time, so tea time-ish. So I think that'll be cool because I want to explore some more of the personal agility stuff. So that'll be cool. And don't forget, we've got the ethics thing tonight, folks. So Scott's doing the session with Shane, and I'll be co-hosting with him. But it's going to be a precursor to the panel debate next week. So if you're still awake at that time, it's quite late because Shane's in New Zealand. So, it's 10 o'clock. So if you're about, jump on.
Is that the ethics of agile coaching?
Yep.
With agile.
It's tonight. Yeah. So
I think for me, there's just there's actually so many events on. I'm not going to say there's this one or that one to go to. I'm actually being a bit evil that I'm booking myself onto events and I'm looking in the morning to see what's on, just in case there's something I've missed, and then just jumping into it. That's the amount of stuff that's going on. It's inspiring just to see that. So I'm not going to promote anything for this weekend. Just have a look at the calendar.
I think you've got an event coming up, haven't you, Yusuf?
What, my own one or the Karl,
you are allowed to plug your own, you know.
Karl just did a Sabrina.
I was hoping to keep it undercover and only have 3 people turn out so we can have a discussion. So there's 2 events that I'm involved in. One's going to be the Red Team event, which Karl, you and I are both doing. I think it's on Tuesday, if I remember.
Yeah.
And everyone will get to see a bit of how we actually work, what red teaming actually means, how difficult it is to actually talk about red teaming thinking to people who aren't in the red team and not get called all sorts of really bad names as you do again.
I've got a list if you want.
Okay, so honestly, the sort of sometimes you get called. It's the funny, and as we were discussing, we'll talk about this more on Tuesday, I think, but it was we get called all these names for saying, well, why did you say that? You can't say that. And then about a couple of days later, people go, actually, thank you for doing that. That was exactly what we needed to get us focused on the right direction or sort out our problems. And so that's on Tuesday. And then next week, if I get the chance to write it, I'm going to be doing a talk called Encompassing Frameworks, and that's Sunday week. So this comes from an old, again, given that we had a Taoist session this morning, this comes from a very old Taoist question, a Taoist philosophy that asking simple questions scares people. It really does. Most people want to live in complexity. They want to live in difficulty. They want to give long answers. They want to carry books. But asking the simple questions really causes issues. And so Encompassing Frameworks is an approach that I've adopted. I've been showing it to everyone. And it's not something I've come up with, but you get, when you say that person's really good at what they do, what you normally find is they collapse stuff down and they get some sort of encompassing framework which just carries everything in it. And they can explain it so simply. And once you see that simplicity, you go, oh, okay, now we can ask the really good questions. And so I just want to explore this. I'll be exploring that next week. It's not going to be polished and it's not going to be anything fancy. It's just going to be me saying, here's an encompassing framework. Here's some ideas of encompassing frameworks. Let's just talk. And if 3 people turn up, I'll be very happy because then we can have a proper chat. So those are the 2 things I'm involved in.
I don't know if you knew about this, but you've actually created a female following. There's a lot of ladies out there that have a bit of a thing for you. It came up in the Mentimeter. I don't know if you realize of, oh my God, we love Yusuf. And obviously, you know, us ladies in the background, we all have a thing about your voice.
Yeah.
can you not do something on Valentine's Day for the ladies? Because you are literally, the women are loving you.
I tell you what,
I don't know why I'm laughing, because even I've got a thing for your voice. Bit of an admittance there. Maybe it's a glass.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I will read I'll read a Pablo Neruda poem on Sunday. I'll publish it as part of the festival. And it won't be me talking. It'll be about the way we should all work with each other or be with each other. Okay, I'll do it on Sunday. I'll put it on Twitter or something.
There you go.
How's that?
For your ladies, for your lady
Oh,
followers.
thank you. But for everybody, for myself as well. That's the thing.
It's true. Didn't you see it, Karl, when we went for the mentor?
Yeah, we all assumed that was Scott.
No. You starting rumours there.
There you go. Cause him to choke. Can I ask why everyone is avoiding the heffalump in the room conversation?
What's the heffalump in the room?
Snowbird.
We're getting to it. We're getting to it.
We're building up to it.
Are we? Okay. I didn't see the notes.
Get with the program.
and of course, Mr. Leffingwell as well. So we can build up to this properly if you want. I mean, just talk about humanity. Just everyone makes up Dean Leffingwell, if no one knows, he's the founder of SAFE, to be this automated robot who's trying to march and conquer the world with his methodology. And when he heard his talk, he was talking about his life as a child and all sorts of stuff. He really brought, and I think this is the other thing. I was astonished just hearing what he's talking about. And I think the Snowbird event, I'll let you guys come up with it. Sabrina's got the note, she can bring that.
Do you know what? I got a bit frustrated yesterday, because I'd been telling my work colleagues for months as agilists, I want to watch this 4 p.m. I'm watching it, and then work comes in, and I said I can work at the same time, but stop calling me. But I did get a chance to watch it, and I watched most of it, and I loved it. Yes, okay, there was some kinks. I did find it amusing after the break period, and it was lucky that break turned up at the right time, because me and Karl had to film Agile World yesterday around about the same time of the break, where the host, I can't remember her name, she was really, really good, but obviously I must have missed a bit because apparently her microphone was left on at some point. I don't know if anything was said, but really good event, considering it was all day. There was lots of different snippets, there was lots of different things. You know, our well-known friend, colleague, Alistair was on there. He brought up some really good points. It was nice to hear about how the day was. And I even said to Karl last night about, you know, they kept going back to the 10-year anniversary and the beginning. So it's quite nice to hear it in those sections. Is there anything particular that you guys thought, whoa, or this was different? I actually missed, I think it was from about 9 or 8:30. And I've still got to pick those bits up because it has been recorded.
I only watched the bit with the 7 sort of co-authors was chatting about the past. I made this comment to a number of people. I think I put it online somewhere. The thing I couldn't get past was the way that they kind of shared that space. So the 7 of them, and the way they were chatting, and rarely did they talk over each other. And they all very naturally gave each other the space to express themselves and share and recall and recount their experience. And it was so incredible. It was like a masterclass at how to do like a virtual meeting. You know, it's like we're in a meeting for work and people are talking over each other. No one's listening. So I talked a lot about generous listening. And James is talking about, you know, be prepared to turn up for stuff. You know, Ari's talking about leave the ego at the door. And then they're talking about, you know, prepared to be wrong. You're going to be wrong a lot. The humility was incredible. It honestly, I was astounded. I watched it and I just thought, everybody should watch this.
Yeah.
Because when we're trying to help organizations be agile, not do agile, but be agile, this is that stuff. And it's very hard to get it into organizations. I thought it was phenomenal. It took me ages to go, wow, what did I just watch? That's phenomenal.
Sorry, Sabrina, after you, please.
You first, my darling. Go for it.
No, I actually, I know this may sound it may not sound like a relevant point, but I was putting myself in the position of those people to wonder, for them to be thinking, we 20 years ago, we sat down and we just wrote this stuff to develop software. Look at this now. Look at where we are now. Yeah. And that the people often say what comes, you can't, the end doesn't change the beginning. We're not at the end of Agile yet, but where we are now has completely changed what they did 20 years ago. That event of writing software, the software manifesto, effectively what it was, is not a software manifesto anymore. Mm-hmm. And I just thought to myself, I wonder what these 7 are thinking. I think what Sath's describing is a reflection of them probably taking the enormity of what's happened based on what they originally came up with. All of that, and that struck me, and that really did strike me. I mean, I am a bit of an old hippie when it comes to that, but that really did come through to me.
I did like the comment when was it Alistair who said it? I'm trying to remember who actually said it. That when they've gone to universities or they've spoken to people and mentioned that they're part author of the Agile Manifesto, they've assumed, they've assumed that they're dead.
Yeah,
because it was 20 years ago.
Alistair says that a lot. Yeah, he says that a lot.
People they stand back and they assume, actually, I thought everybody was dead, and actually they're not. They're not all spring chickens. We've got to admit that. Maybe we do need some spring chickens involved in, any changes or anything. But yeah, it was that humor. I love the fact that they were just themselves. I love the fact that they're consultants like we are. They are consultants like we are. We are very similar to they are. It kind of hits home.
But they're zombies as well because they're all dead, so they're all walking around.
I really like that they were ordinary people that actually they were at a point in time, and that point in time had been coming for a while.
Hang a minute, let me just get the plane started up for my departure. That was ordinary. I just want to sit there with my plane. Fair play.
Sabrina, if you can't fly, I'm really sorry, but you just need to learn like the rest of us.
Honey, get the plane started, darling. I'll be going in a moment. Yeah,
it reminds me. So the night before I joined, so Jim Highsmith did a session with the DC Lean Agile guys. So I joined that one. It was really late, actually, our time. But it was the same. So it was just Jim and listening. And he's retiring now. So he's retired. He's 75. So he was talking in a very nostalgic way, and he kept that going in that panel with the other guys. But again, he was saying stuff that, like, hearing it from then, you never heard it. So one of the things he says that I didn't know, right? I don't know if you guys knew, was during those 3 days when they did that, they only came up with the values. The principles were done over several months.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, I like the idea that it was a throwaway idea to put in the signing of the manifesto by people outside, because I was looking back to see when I signed it. I signed it in 2008.
My husband signed it. He went, I signed the manifesto. I went, what? I haven't signed it. What have I been doing?
Well, they closed it in 2016, but it's and I look back to it, and the company that I owned then, I still own, that actually signed up to the manifesto, and I think it's and I think my comment was, it's a good start. Because this
is a step in the right direction.
But pretty much, yeah, because it was. I mean, people now don't realize how bad things really were then. I mean, it was the divide between the executive and the working people was so vast, and there was just the assumption, just go and do it. What do you mean you've got an opinion? Go and do it or you're fired. That's kind of where it was. Now there's a. Yeah, I was going
to agree. Sorry, go on, Karl.
There's still a class of people that behave that way, but actually none of those people would have a job without technology.
Yeah.
I just to emphasize that point, how bad it was. I think it was 2002 when we had I was working in a merchant bank on the trade floor where we were making markets, we were trading equities, derivatives and stuff. And the project manager, we'd already been doing some rapid application development, this sort of stuff. And I was working as an operational research mathematician. He'd come in and he'd put these cards on the wall and he said, right, you guys sort yourselves out. These are the business ideas the traders have come up with. How are you going to do them for them? And that was it. and literally, I remember senior managers shouting at him, and he was an Aussie. So some of the things he said back were just like the most amazing swear words I've ever heard in my life. I mean, literally, it was like, can you actually do that? Is that possible? Is that so? We were sort of cutting down our delivery time and making so much money so quickly within 6 to 9 months that it got accepted. There was no two ways around it. But the pushback initially was just, it was astonishing that people were getting fired left, right, and centre. We were all worried about our jobs. But what those people did, just that spark at the right moment, at the right time, the right people, it's changed so much, just that.
It's been amazing, and I think that's the thing is, I've been talking to people in the NHS talking about adopting agile ways of working for running wards, because actually, the behaviours that you actually need to have for handover are the same ones that you have for a stand-up. So all of those sort of things, and work that I've done in the past has adopted agile principles into the software without the people realizing, because they weren't open to the ideas except as features.
Yeah.
So
I just messaged my husband. He's downstairs in his office to say, when did you sign the Agile Manifesto? What did you put in it? He's just sent me the link. I'm not trolling through.
oh no,
When did you sign it?
You can get the link to the page. There's a lot of pages, mind you, but
oh, he's literally just sent me the link. So I've got everything from February 2002 up until 2016.
yeah, so that's the link for everyone, but his signature will be in there somewhere. You just have to trawl through till you find it. Or you could just use Google search.
Yeah, but do you know how many Robert Bruces there are?
No idea.
The King of Scotland constantly. Every time you Google him, see?
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
but you can set the Google search to search just in that website.
Oh, okay.
It's part of the search appliance design.
We'll do it afterwards.
Yeah.
That's my husband's persona, the King of Scotland.
Robert Bruce.
It's great when we go to Edinburgh. We get literally the best seats in the house when we book a table, and we get questioned. And sometimes we've had times where they're like, really? Is that the name you're going to give me? No, it is real. It is real. He is called that. That's his name.
I think, Seth, you and I should change our name to Robert Bruce as well, mate.
I think you should. I think you could carry that off, to be honest.
Yeah.
This is probably what Robert the Bruce talked like. This is probably what he sounded like.
Honestly, he was from South London like me. That was where he was originally from. That was the thing.
I mean, it's all South London, mate.
Yeah.
All right, he was South London, and he went north because he couldn't find any work. And then he met all these people wearing skirts, and he went, "What do I do now?"
I'll just put a skirt on.
I think you just become enemy number one, Yusuf. Well done for that.
I think, good. This one's going to go viral, and it's not going to be good for you.
I know what's going to make this video go viral. Yusuf, any chance you can take your hair out slowly and just be the lady. Get that hair flowing.
Make amends for that comment.
No, well, I'll tell you one thing. I mean, there's
He's not an object, you know.
I'm not an object.
I have an excuse. Lockdown has meant the barbers are shut, so I actually had to try and cut my own hair the other day, and so it's not good. Let's put it that way.
The women are loving it. They're loving it.
Well, it seems like we've gained a male icon as part of the festival. Yusuf, you may be the face of the future of Agile.
Oh God, that's a horrifying thought. Let me bring it back to it. So just one thing, I know that I don't mean to be serious about things, but this morning I was supposed to be running a proposal for some work back to the we're all just ordinary people. We're doing day-to-day jobs as well. And I remember before we started recording, I said to you guys, I actually got so sick of writing this rubbish on this bit of paper this morning that I thought, okay, enough of this. I'm just going to find something to attend at the festival. And I found a talk on agile and agribusiness. And I think the guy's name was Banki Najee from Gambia. And it was just astonishing. I mean, I'm literally like looking at this thing going, hold on. and he was talking about farmers who are growing, whether they grow okra or whether they grow spring onions, and how they use different technologies and when they should go to market, and do they band together and organize. And I was just sitting there going, am I just in a surreal world here where I'm seeing something where we spent an hour, and then I thought, okay, there's going to be like 3 of us on this call. There's going to be no one listening to this. He had like 20 questions from people saying, okay, now if we want to do this ourselves, what do we do? Now we're a cooperative in this country, and we want to do, and it was just, I'm telling you, it was astonishing. It was astonishing just seeing it. Agribusiness and Agile. And see, I've deflected from the skirt comment very quickly there. I thought that was quite good.
It's too late. It's on the film now. It's I shall forward this to every Scottish person I know.
Thank you.
I detoured it with the hair. You can't go against me. I'm married to the Bruce, so you can't go against me.
Okay.
A Bruce, not the Bruce.
We have our own tartan, apparently.
Oh.
Okay.
This has gone in an unexpected direction, I must say.
I live in Scotland, and I'm married to a Scottish woman, but I still would not claim my own tartan.
Hey, I was born next door to where Robert the Bruce was born in South London, so I mean, I'm allowed to.
I've actually got a book. When we went to Edinburgh, there was a book in the gift shop that said Bruce, so I bought it.
Okay.
Have we derailed this enough yet?
No. I think I'm enjoying it because I'm feeling that the Edinburgh bookstores are doing a good job of selling stuff, and that all helps the local economy.
I'd had a few drinks that night.
Can I make a plug? In fact, we're here. I'm going to make a plug for McNaughton Books on and Typeronger on Elm Street, my local bookshop when I was in Edinburgh. And those guys were awesome. Typeronger they were making absolutely zero money, and they would still let you take books and return them. And also, they were fantastic people. So use your local bookshops, okay, please, if you're in Edinburgh.
Well, that should lead into something else. Aren't you actually doing something around books?
Hey.
I
like it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm just packing up the house. I've just sold it, so I'm probably moving soon. And I was looking around the house a few weeks ago, and I found half a dozen to maybe 10 books on Agile that I haven't read, I haven't touched for years. They're just sitting around doing nothing. And I just had this thought. I wonder if we could have a book collection. We're all going to have books either at home or at the office, which on Agile, on stuff like strategy, on stuff complexity. I found a book on understanding complex methods in software development, which I don't know where the hell it came from. But there's all sorts of books around that we're all going to have. And I wondered if we could send them to people who don't have access to this sort of stuff. And it occurred to me because when I was younger, I didn't have access to books. I had to literally work to earn enough money to buy the books that I wanted for myself. So I think we might be able to do this. So as part of that, I've been asking around. We found one charity in Africa who are willing to distribute books for us. It'll be fine. So I think I've got a couple of asks really, and I'll put this on Twitter and put it elsewhere that if any of you guys, anyone listening to this or anybody who's associated with the festival, if you've got books at home or in the office that you're not reading, please can you just drop us a message. Let's see if we can get a list together. And if you know any charities either in Africa or in Asia, South America, I know there's even charities in North America where there's people who need books and they can't get access to them, or in Europe or anywhere. Please can you drop us a message? Let's get this collated. So I'm thinking maybe at the end of February when the festival's winding down, we start saying, right, please send the books here. We're going to figure out a way to get them to the here, and here, okay, in big loads. And it'll help people get educated who actually want this access to books and they can't get it. And that's basically the thought, really.
Sounds like a good thought.
Do you know what? It's absolutely amazing. You're right. Yeah. And I think everyone around here, if you think about it, we've got at least 2-3 books. Yeah. There'll be multiple people with books propping up their desks that really, we can use a piece of wood or something like that. We don't need to use a book. I've got loads of Linux books, Red Hat books, technical books, let's get it out there. Perfect.
I would say the one thing we'd have to organise, and again, this has just been a thought because at the moment I was literally going to just pack a box up and get a couple of my friends to give me their books and literally, or if not, go raid their houses for the books and pack them in the box and send them. would be how do we actually get it to Africa, Asia, wherever we need to. At the moment, I thought we'd just do this in our Eat Around Dog Food. We do this in an agile way. Let's see if people have got books they want to volunteer. Let's see if we can find the charities. And then let's see where we go towards the end of February.
But also maybe for people that write books that they can provide digital copies free.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's a good shout.
That would also, yeah, agree. Sorry.
Okay. So are we done for tonight, or are we?
I think we covered a lot of ground tonight.
and we can expect the lawsuits to come in.
When you've had a drink.
I've still got a long night ahead. I'm sure you all have too.
Yep.
I'm just worried what's going to happen if I move to Scotland now. Thank you.
No, you'll be fine, Yusuf. We won't give out your address until necessary, until it'll be funny.
Remember that chat earlier about personas and stuff?
Yusuf, I'm married to the King of Scotland. It's safe. It's fine.
Robert the Bruce will save me.
He will save you. He's going to come up here and basically have a word of me in a minute. It's fine, darling. Righty then. Well, thank you very much. Lovely to see you both. Have a wonderful, fun weekend. And we'll see you probably sometime next week.
Yep.
Can I just say thank you to both of you for doing this every day? It's very kind of you.
Oh, we love it.
It's good fun. It's good fun.
It's good. It's all good fun until someone watches it.
We've not got into trouble yet.
Well, there's time.
Thank you all.
See you later.
Bye.
Yes.
Cheers all. Bye.